Henceforward, we should abandon the term social media and call it what it is: electronic gaslighting. In 1969, Herbert Krugman noticed that within 30 seconds of watching television, people's brainwave patterns change as they plunge into a highly suggestible, almost hypnotic state. He hooked up his subject to a Grass Model 7 polygraph, which in turn interfaced with a Honeywell 7600 computer. Flicking on the TV, Krugman began monitoring the brainwaves of the subject. What he found, through repeated trials, was that within about 30 seconds, the brainwaves switched from predominantly beta waves, indicating alert and conscious attention, to predominantly alpha waves, indicating an unfocused, receptive lack of attention, the state of aimless fantasy and daydreaming below the threshold of consciousness. When Krugman's subject turned to reading through a magazine, beta waves reappeared, indicating that conscious and alert attentiveness had replaced the daydreaming state. Why I mention this is because recently, people have begun noticing an alarming phenomenon with their cell phones while looking at them through infrared light. We can watch one such couple doing the experiment here.
We just discovered, which we already knew, that your phone, an iPhone specifically, takes an infrared picture of you with your Face ID every 5-ish seconds, and we looked at it through an infrared camera, and it's pretty wild. Let's show you. Okay, have your home screen.
It's on the home screen.
Not touching anything.
No buttons.
Okay, infrared lens on the camera. Boom, there was one. Two. That's so wild. Okay, cover the camera.
Okay.
Oh, there was another one. Okay, nothing. Oh, it's trying. It's taking pictures of your finger. Okay, move your finger. Ready? Boom. Wild.
It's unlikely that the phone is taking your picture every 5 seconds as the girl theorizes in the video. Digital photography doesn't require a flash of any sort. No, something very different is probably happening, and this dovetails with something we hit on from our last report when we talked about transcranial magnetic stimulation. Disabling parts of the brain with a magnet can weaken faith in God and change attitudes to immigrants, study finds. We read, a joint team of American and British scientists have discovered that powerful magnetic pulses to the brain can temporarily change people's feelings on a variety of subjects, from their belief in God to their attitude to immigration. The study, published in the Journal of Social and Cognitive Affective Neuroscience, saw scientists use a metal coil to create strong magnetic fields around certain parts of the brain. The non-invasive practice is called transcranial magnetic stimulation and can be used to treat depression. It adds, in the second part of the study, students were asked to read 2 letters written by immigrants to America, one which praised the country and another which criticized it. Again, the text of the critical letter was taken from another study that proved it increased stronger feelings of loyalty and bias towards the subject's own ethnic group at the expense of the other. The students were then treated with their respective doses of TMS, with half receiving a dose capable of severely lessening activity in the threat processing center of the brain. The collected results showed a marked difference in attitudes between the 2 groups. It's an open question as to whether the pulses at 5-second intervals that the couple in the video documented are the magnetic pulses required for transcranial magnetic stimulation, but certain articles in the neurological literature do appear to make the suggestion. As we see here in this article, strength-duration relationship in paired pulse transcranial magnetic stimulation and its implications for repetitive TMS. Here we read, using these parameters, paired pulse stimulations were repeated every 5 seconds for 30 minutes. Repetitive paired pulse stimulation, RPPS. The after effects of RPPS were measured using MEP amplitude as an index of motor cortical excitability. So were the 5-second pulses captured in the video related to the 5-second pulses required to psychologically manipulate people in the process of transcranial magnetic stimulation? As the culture shifted away from television watching to cell phones, and the trance-inducing effects of TV no longer had such a hold on the public, were cell phone companies induced to create a similar process on their devices in order to condition their users to be more open to higher rates of suggestibility when they read mainstream media news articles? One interesting data point is from Mark Penn's Microtrends Squared. He noted the trend of the elites to ditch their iPhones for flip phones. He writes, every move or desire in one direction seems to inspire a counter-movement by another group in the opposite direction. For every radical group, there is a new conservative group. For every new product in mobile technology, there are those sticking to the flip phone. According to his chapter in the book, the demographic most inclined to revert to the flip phone are the rich and the powerful. These are the same people, incidentally, who tend to limit their own kids' usage of iPhones. As we read in this article, the flip phone is back. Have people had enough of constant connection? There we see the sentence. Some tech industry players have publicly said they see the dangers of screen time and stringently limit their children's exposure. Includes the late Apple CEO, Steve Jobs. The point is, the elites purposely limit their kids' time on these devices, and they do so for a reason. Just like they send their kids to Waldorf schools which ban technology while they encourage your kids to be as hooked up as possible. In the Roman Empire, they had a phrase, a man could be made a slave with either chains of iron or chains of silver. This was a reference to bribery, the silver. In the modern era, it's almost an axiom that a man can be made a slave with chains of iron or links to a Wi-Fi system in the cloud. Could reading the New American Magazine boost your heart health, support your immune system, and help you lose 20 pounds of unsightly fat? The answer is no. But you should read it anyway. It'll keep you informed and provide information that cuts through the noise of lesser news outlets. TheNewAmerican.com. And don't forget to subscribe to us on social media and hit that like button.